Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Star Citizen. I will be playing, and hopefully everything comes out just right, but there is a couple bugs I would like to address. Some of them was addressed earlier in my video for testing to make sure that this will be working properly. Generally what happened was one of the major bugs that I have found so far was that sometimes when you do certain missions, like the hauling missions, per se, like you go ahead and you actually complete it, it says it completed and everything, but yet it didn't pay you the money in which performing the act from the NPC. Now, I don't know if it's because it doesn't register it sometimes, or if it just plainly just doesn't work right now because of the polishing and stuff that's going on inside the game, which, don't get me wrong, in-game polishing, not a bad idea. Personally, I do believe that maybe some things should be taken care of in a different manner than what it has been for this game. Because right now, detail, there's a lot of detail. I'm even running this right now, as you can see. This is medium settings. There's tons. I mean, when I play Eve, the highest settings is super high settings of this. This is just medium. Now, on my impression of the game, this being at medium and it looks this phenomenal just feels like, wow, how can something like this occur? Now on low, it's not as great. It takes on low, it just takes time. Or there's another button. Doors opening and closing when they want. But like this right here, where it says Polar SAR, or that EZ down there, on low settings you won't see it. You have to wait like 3 to 4 minutes before it loads in so you can read from that far of a distance. But when you're up close, it's not too hard to read. But on medium, I mean, it's like, ooh god. But the frame rates for this game so far that I've had, the highest one I had frames per second was 31. Right now I'm running at 28. Sometimes it'll lag down to about 2 frames per second. The frame rate really does suck a little bit at the moment, but it's still playable. It's not too concerning. The fact that you have to play a ton of missions to try to beat currency is just wow. Like, even a 3,000 contract, it is something that pisses me off. You're gonna get that anywhere and everywhere. These ones have time limits. This one doesn't really have a time limit. What I personally hate about the contract is personal contracts and general contracts are shit. Like, there's no distinguishment from, like, I get a contract that says Wetworks, and there's somebody else that gets the same fucking contract. And how is it personal contract to me if somebody else is able to pick up that contract and do the contract before I do? Now, in any game I've ever played, especially like, let's say, for instance, Elite Dangerous, if I get a personal contract, that contract is very specific to only me. Now, that's how that should be here in this game. Obviously, it doesn't do that, but it's basically like that. It's got a lot of detail, but a lot of bugs. Now I understand that they're going through testing phase, but this is a test. I'm pledged in to test this game, and as I've been testing it, I have spent like almost 2 days on planet Lorville, or actually at Lorville, planet first time, and because of the amount of bugs on that little area alone, you'll barely ever see me go there. Like, I would love to go back to Lorville because they have some good stuff there. There's plenty of good things to buy, ships that you can buy in game right now that are there that I could buy there, but I can't justify the bugs to go to that planet. I cannot justify going to that planet or to Lorville for that matter and get stuck on that planet for 2 days straight. I had to sneak my way off the planet. Literally sneak my way off of it on somebody else's ship. I had to hide in their gun turret, and when they landed and exited their vehicle, I landed, got the hell out of their turret. There was no way of getting any ships at Lorville off. Like, it would tell you one pad, but it's really on another, or it would store your ship before you can get into the pad. Like I said, there's tons of bugs, a lot of them that just really I deem as unacceptable for a game that's this well designed. The general ship. Now you see how it says destroyed, but yet it's here. Then it does that. Like it takes a while for it to load in. Some people get frustrated.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
And it just spawns. They just do the claiming. Right now, as it stands, claiming is a little bit different than normal. Pretty much most of these bugs I'm going to demonstrate. Just for you guys to know, we are testing this game, but so all feedback, especially with this media runs, isn't supposed to be taken as harsh or be like, oh hey, this game's not really playing because of all this and blah blah blah. No. People's going to bash on any kind of game, especially since these kind of developers, what they're doing is pledging alone. They're not going through publishers or anything. They're going by the fan base. But now, we don't get paid to do this. We're paying them to be able to test this game, to get this game it goes to the point where the actual byproduct for the game is literally that. It's something that was developed not just by developers, but it was developed by us, the players, and the base core of the game. Now, obviously, this has immense amount of stuff to it to do. Right now,
hello and welcome aboard your Drake interplanetary craft. Your systems are online.
It's touch and go. It's current state as this development. Some missions are cool. Some missions, as I said previously, it's just they really need to go in, get those bugs fixed first, stop what kind of details that they do have going on, or detailing that they are doing right now, and start focusing on stuff that will make the game more enjoyable instead of just wasting hours and hours getting building wars. Now, that stuff tends to happen a lot from gankers. As you can see, I really don't care. How that happened, I don't know. Other than the fact that I was probably a ganker. Was I moving? I think I was actually moving. I don't understand. That. But now I gotta go through this process. Now that could have been a bug and I just blew up. I honestly can't tell you how that happened. Because, again, right here. That, it says no missions tracker. Missions track. It doesn't tell me what kit journal. It just tells me these things. It doesn't tell me tactically anything like that. Just these are just basic things that they give you inside. But there's no idea of what actually happened. So they might need to be able to put something track the show why they got their ass kind of cool. So that way even as a player. Yes. Now that's going to take 15 minutes to claim that ship. Now, let's say that ship had cargo on it. I'd lost the cargo.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
But let's say that occurred with no idea what happened. You're just minding your own business, trying to do your best to play the game. What generally tends to happen there is it bugs out. Your ship doesn't go to storage and you die or something because of the bug. Now, your ship is basically somewhere where you're not, and you have to call it back. So instead of having to tug with all that expensive cargo on there, you now lost thousands, I mean hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of cargo in that one big ship. And for what? You wouldn't know. There's no claiming. Like, it claims, but it's what it comes stocked straight from the factory, not what you have in it, so there's no transfer. So, I understand you don't want to transfer from one station to the next. They don't want you to do it in a way that's understandable, but there's also places where there's ports and stuff, and let's say it does bug out and it doesn't send you back to your ship, then you're screwed. You're literally out of whatever you just got.
Welcome to Roberts Space Industries. Enjoy the ride. System check.
Fighting mechanics on this game so far as I've done, like,
Water drive is
not
now
bad.
on. Landing gear ready.
Say it's basically like fixed, but it doesn't really lock on to the ship. Your actual turret where it's built. So you can turn the speed, or say you can get your ship on target fast enough, keep it consistent, you don't have to worry about it will float. But when you put it on assist, that's assist feature, which means it will auto lock and target what it needs to do to be able to hit the ship that you hit. But the problem with the system is that there's really no exact way of it actually hitting its targets. It's a hit or miss, because of the bugs it has with it right now. Another key issue, and it's not just me, it's plenty of other people that I have seen inside the game, and some people that I've read on Reddit, that the missiles, they're supposed to be powerhouses. We were promised missiles that could take down shields with one of them, one shot or two missiles, or 3 missiles, depending on the size. But in the current state of this game, it doesn't matter exactly how big the missile is, they are useless. Absolutely crap. You can't destroy shields with them. It's basically meant to scare. Like, I unloaded maybe... Well, actually I did. I unloaded my whole missile rack on my Cutlass Black into a hammerhead. An NPC hammerhead, mind you. Just to see what it would do. That's 23 missiles. And you're going to tell me out of 23 missiles, it didn't even do anything. And there weren't small missiles either. These were medium-sized missiles, so they had supposed to have, on paper, some big wallop to a ship. But the fact that it didn't do anything to the shield at all, no damage whatsoever, no penetration, not even thermal damage, let alone EMP if there was an EMP kind of missile on there. The tracking, it's almost the same way, like it tracks when it wants to track or it doesn't. It'll launch when it wants to launch or it doesn't. But as it stands in the current 3.5 of Star Citizen, the missiles are useless. They're just there to scare people away, that's it. But once people realize that the missiles are useless, they're able to get the crap. Okay, it's not going to do a thing to them. But that's basically the current state of the game. Now, whether or not the developers will get back on and listening to us about these things and be like, oh, hey, yeah, maybe we should stop the detailing these minor problems that we're having within the community themselves. Maybe we should go in and check to see what's wrong and then fix certain key points of the development for that. And then launch it as like 5 or do small patches all the way up until the next one, which would be like 6. So they have plenty of time to be able to fix some of these bugs currently. And some of the issues in which we testers are having. Mind you, I'm not saying that we are players, because technically we're not. We pledged into this game, but we didn't pledge in to have a finished product. We pledged in to help these developers make a game that is what we, the player base, wants. Some things I probably think maybe we shouldn't have. Honestly, like, I don't know why we need a detailed planet where it looks like, oh my god, how much effort that is. I have bugged out into a station where the details on the inside are phenomenal, but I don't need to know that it has I-beams detailed enough to where it shows that it has 47 bolts on it that fucking bolts it to the ship or to the station itself. I don't need to see air ducts where I'm never going to be in an air duct. The fact that they're there is awesome, but unless you glitch out, you don't see them. So what's the point of putting that inside of the game? It's kind of a useless thing. So that being said, maybe too much details, a little bit of a hindrance. At that point, they should be going in like, oh, hey, I need to stop and like start polishing up some of the bugs and fixing some of the things that are making the game a little less enjoyable for the testers. You can spend hours doing absolutely nothing and recording absolutely nothing. It becomes a pain. Now, on the topic of you've got to clean the ship, as it stands, if I buy any extras, like right now I am in the Aurora MR. The Aurora MR basic package, what you can get yourself into the game. Got open slots, as these open slots are literally for gun weapons. Empty left wing and empty right wing. I have spent probably close to 50,000 because each time my ship either gets destroyed or I have to claim this ship. The weapons that I bought in game to upgrade its potential ability go away. Like, there should be a system in place where if I'm upgrading the ship, especially when it comes to weaponry, that if I press claim, I should also have an option on the claim list stating, do I want the basic model or do I want to claim an upgrade that I personally did. Now, if that personal upgrade option is available, then that means I put insurance on the guns or put insurance on the ship itself and saved its loadout to the actual system itself. Now, doing that, putting that option in with the claiming, that right there would be simple, because even in Elite Dangerous, they have the same thing. They have it where it's, you can either A, claim the basic model ship with none of the upgrades that you put in, make it into where you don't have to pay extra, just the cost of the ship and the insurance will cover that. Or you could hit claim and have to pay X amount of money to be able to get all your upgrades that you spent millions and millions on for a fraction of the price, while still be able to retain the setup that you had that you liked. So, with that being said, that's one thing I think that should be implemented into this game, because that happens to save $1,000 in-game currency or loadout that you wanted. Makes it to where it's less enjoyable, because then now
Quantum
you
drive is now off.
get that weapon back where you want it back. Simply upgrading your coolant, upgrading your quantum drive, upgrading your thrusters. Small little key adjustments that made the ship better than what the base model was. And you lose that ability. And you gotta go all over again, and you gotta grind. So do not the greatest fighter pilot in the game.
Quantum drive is now
The
off.
money that you can actually make. And finding out. Later on in my
Quantum drive is now off.
But it's not a hard problem right now. It's more you can sustain being able to get good and getting your weaponries the way you want it, and you can actually be able to do what you want to do in the game. Then you'll be fine as long as you can sustain that certain cap for your own enjoyment. But if you're just a regular player that's coming in the game, this would be just the same as if you were a newbie coming into any other type A play sim game. You're going to want to be able to have that ability to sit back and make
Please proceed to assigned landing language.
Automated. Landing complete.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
Yeah, we'll see whether or not this actually. Holy crap. We're not exiting that side, people. Definitely not exiting that side. Yeah. If that was then I would have missed. Yeah, there's another bug right there you can see. And that's another thing about this game. When you land, like, that was a legal landing. Sometimes it doesn't register that that's a legal landing, and you cannot fuel your ship. Even though it does have the ability on this platform. So, it does have the ability to fuel your ship up. It's got the capabilities to do so. If you repair the station, do that stuff. But sometimes it doesn't allow it. It bugs out and says, hey, well, you're registers it as you can't repair and other stuff. Lost that because you have to do your shit, and it doesn't allow you to fuel because it bugs out. Which means if you got a bunch of freaking cargo and you're trying to go somewhere, you're screwed. Elevators are almost the same. I mean, I've glitched into stations because of them. I've died because of them. Certain stations are worse than others. Some places elevators don't work at all. It gets there. I've died literally on the tram in Louisville when I was spending the 2 days trying to get the hell off that damn planet. So much frustration. I mean, oh my. For right now, I just cannot do it. And they should make that an option, where I use this to be able to log out, and I'll just log out and log back in onto the ship. But for some reason, you can't do that. It's like, you can log out.
We're sorry. You exceeded the allotted time to depart. We will have to return your ship to storage.
Takeoff complete.
Right.
Landing gear ready.
Back to the same location. I'm going to see if I can actually show you the bug.
Auto drive is now up.
Right now it's a stand. I didn't check back there. Once I get the whole does need some polishing, some bugs, words, especially by mechanics. Now I apologize if you guys can't hear me very well. I have to actually Now, maybe it's different now, but basically that's everything in a nutshell. This game is literally buggy, but not buggy to where you get less enjoyment out of it. It generally, the bugs that you do come across, it's minor stuff that just needs to be taken care of to where people just quit getting frustrated. But I enjoy the game. I love the game as its current state. Testing it out, testing to see what kind of quirks it has. I've been enjoying doing so, and I enjoy watching the game develop the way we see fit, the way that we give the developers the heads up of, hey, look, this is what's going on, this is what needs to be fixed, and they actually do listen. But they prioritize certain things for certain launches, which is understandable. They want to get Squadron, I want to say 42 or 24, one of those two numbers. They're trying to get it polished up in the first episodes out, so that way people can start playing a actual finished part of the game that's leading to the persistent part. Without testing the stuff in persistent, you're not going to get what you got for Squadron 42 or Squadron 24-1. I mean, you wouldn't have an actual finished product for this game. As the game progresses, especially the persistent mode, the mechanics in that game will start to also polish itself out and become more enjoyable. So it's one hand feeds the other, and it works out. Now, when it comes to multi-crewing ships, like my Cutlass Black, some things will be kind of awesome to have. Like, right now in the Aurora, the way it is set up, I have full control over every little aspect of what my ship can do, what it cannot do. Do I like the way the panel is set up? I kind of do. I mean, I like having my comms panel so that way I can actually pull up and be like, oh hey, look, I need to hail this port. I can hail it without having to go to the mobiGlas. But as it's broken right now, and you can't do that, well, I'm gonna have to hassle. I can see my shields powering to my weapons. Those are all good. What I don't like currently on my panel is the fact that it has two spots. Two spots where it shows what I can do with my weapons. So, do I really need two of those? No, I don't. I really honestly don't. I do have a thing that shows my shield, which is good. But do I really need a dedicated spot for just that? I don't think so. Powering weapons on and off, distributing them powers, showing where I can overclock at. That would be a great panel to have, which we do. But it's not as big. Like, seriously, it is really not that big. Like, this, I have to zoom in to be able to look at it. It's my systems, like, do I want to turn secondary weapons on or off? How much power I want to put into this point of the systems? Max it out. Missiles, turn it on and off. Like, that's all good, fine, dandy. Overclocking these things, figuring out how much ammo I've got left for my yellow jackets, my flare ammos. That information is awesome to have. All this is really awesome to have. The fact that I only got 2 missiles on this thing really does suck, so. And like I said, I'm not going to upgrade missiles anyways. They just, generally, they don't do anything. But if this right here took this whole panel, then it would be easier to be able to go back and forth, figure out what I want to do, go into here, figure out this part, be able to turn certain things on or off when I see fit. Like, I really don't need missiles on, so I have them on, shut them off. Now all my power just went straight into the system itself. It's not getting overused or anything. I can clock, as you can see, it's clocked up there. And here's your overclocking. Like, I've got it set up here. I should be able to press overclock and it does it. I press overclock on that one and it should do it. The fact that you have all these abilities to be able to do the overclocking on things, but yet, as it stands, the overclocking really doesn't do you justice. You pretty much gotta, like, really figure out what is a priority, and in the middle of a battle, you really think you're gonna come to this part of the panel and just be like, okay, let's see here, I need to overclock, and then by the time you get done doing all this, you just got destroyed. So the overclocking might need to be a little bit different in my idea. No, we're not gonna mess with that. But that's basically just the way the game is set right now. These panels are set that way because of multi-crew, being able to multi-crew. I should have a navigator that helps me navigate through this, the radar range, I can max it, minimize it, all that stuff. While in-game, that's fine and dandy in-game for multi-crewing and stuff. When you're just in a single-person ship, you're going to come across battles that simply being able to overclock something, it really doesn't matter, because the fact that you're going to be too busy paying attention to the actual target itself, trying to multitask, going between the two just becomes too much of a task. So overclocking really doesn't help you at all. It's just there. Which I don't mind. I really don't. I barely ever overclock anything unless I'm with my buddies in my organization and
Engines.
let's just and I'll overclock my that's what happening over in a ship because it makes sense. Take for instance the
Quantum drive is now off.
I can have a pilot, a co-pilot, and a gunman. Those are three main jobs of that ship. There's no other job that that ship needs. But it's got passenger seats in the back. It's got a great cargo space. And how did I run out of fuel? I shouldn't have run out of fuel. Oh, you're kidding me.
Quantum drive is now off.
Just get me close enough to it and I'll go the rest of it. But for some reason, now it's saying I have to. Just makes me kind of wonder a little bit whether or not the game's lying to me too. Get probably a little bit. Back to what I was saying about Cutlass Black. Multi-cruise ships like that, they have a purpose, and I see the Camels being purposeful for that purpose. Because if I have, like, let's say this has a co-pilot,
Quantum drive is now off.
it's got plenty of room for that. That, and then we'll just let it go. Now, whether or not I make it to the port is a different story. But yes, the Cutlass Black, being able to have a secondary seat for your co-pilot, that's understandable. I really do enjoy being a co-pilot myself because having the ability to be able to take a command, especially like in the middle of a battle, there's always going to be communication, especially in a game like this. It was very apparent in EVE Online that communication was a key factor, so they had their own in-game chat system for voice chat, sort of like this has VoIP, which is basically the same thing. And with VoIP, it's got its own in-game chat, so you can stay within contact of people within your ship, be able to communicate real-time data to a player, so they can adjust, like your co-pilot, to adjust such and such, or let's say when you're looking at the radar, you see you have an enemy that's doing some damage to you, to your, I want to say, we'll go with, to your 4 o'clock. Well, automatically the gunner's going to be like, oh, hey, radar, 4 o'clock. Boom. The turret will go ahead and he'll adjust to firing on the target at 4 o'clock while you're maintaining fire on what's in front of you. Then, let's say you need more oomph to go to your shields. Well, instead of having to press that button to do that, having the co-pilot have control over powering the shields or powering to weapons or what power to the systems, that should be regulated by your co-pilot. Your co-pilot will do that. If I tell him to be able to overclock things, he'll be able to overclock them for me, while I'm still maintaining the ability to keep consistent DPS and damage being put on the target in front of me. That's where you see the issue with having to try to overclock when you're doing it by yourself. Not very many people are fast enough to be able to keep the target on target with your guns and being able to go back and forth between all the screens to overclock or to make minor adjustments to certain parts of whether you need weapons being more powered, or you need more power to your systems, or you need more power to your engines, regulating how much power usage they're having, where to turn on and off certain key things. That's where it becomes more of a hassle and less enjoyable. And that's where you probably come in and play with other items, like let's say voice attack. Voice attack will become an automated pilot all on itself, so you would have a secondary co-pilot if you use voice attack. Then you can literally do the same thing as you would, but with an AI. Then that becomes where you can start putting more DPS and more damage out without having to worry about going back and forth between all the screens. No brainer, I'd do it. I've done it in Elite Dangerous. It works. It's saved my bacon plenty of times, and I kept consistent fire like I needed to on target. But the ability that these panels have, I like it. I like it because being a co-pilot myself and knowing and understanding how the mechanics of that works, I had no problems being able to do it. I had an enjoyable time being a co-pilot, and to be honest with you guys, I'm probably not going to finish this mission. Just FYI, that bug was very apparent there on that one. But yeah, it's not an unenjoyable game. It's very enjoyable. It has key points that I've seen the developers are going for, and I see the main potential, like with the Cutlass Black, the potential of that. It's a multi-ship. It can be a pirate ship. It can actually be a drop ship if you look at it. The Cutlass Black has 6 passenger seats. I mean, hell yeah. Put 6 troops in the back. People can stand up in it, because there's plenty of cargo room. And it looks like for the cargo room, but especially the way the doors are designed, that you could possibly put either some kind of fighting vehicle in there, like, I don't know, like the Yellow Jacket per se, or something of that small but yet a vehicle that can help transport more troops. So there's another additional 2 more people, which could be crewed into your ship, and they can launch that like either out into space and be able to do enough damage and board the ship and be able to taxi players back and forth to the ship, going in and out by both sides, one way in, one way out, going back and forth, constant transporting new players back and forth to the ship that you're trying to take over. With the dropship point, it's on point. Like the minute you go to drop in, you can open up the side doors, launch the yellow jacket out. The guy that's on the yellow jacket could be sitting there laying suppressive fire down while you get close enough to actually land. Once you land, instead of having to drop the back hatch to let people out, people just got to stand up and jump out the side doors, hit the ground running and gunning. It's got that potential of a dropship. Most people wouldn't think of it like that, but there is that potential. I see that potential in that ship. Now you got bigger ships, per se, like the Freelancer. Oh my god, the Freelancer. Every time I've ever gotten into one of those, my god, they're huge inside. I get kind of frustrated with it because the amount of walking around alone is just, oh wow. I can get lost in that ship. But the amount of crew it can actually have, like, you can get into massive fleet battles. It would basically be just like as if you were in a real freaking ship. Like, unlike in Elite Dangerous, where the ship gets to be in about the size of a capital and it's still just you operating it. There's no getting up and going around and people having assigned areas or anything. Or like, let's say in game your organization will be constantly out and monitoring, so you have a fleet, a protective security fleet for, let's say, your miners or your salvagers and stuff, and they need to be able to quantum jump. They'll need to be able to have that constant headway speed to be able to do things inside the game. But every single ship that's in that fleet, especially the multi-crew ones, have the potential of having people that just, they may not be good at actually flying a ship and fighting, but they still have a purpose and a use inside the multi-crew of the ship. They're going to want to get out and they're going to want to try to get good at fighting and stuff like that. So don't get me wrong on that. I'm not saying that's solely what you should be doing if you can't play the game. No, it's let's say you're done fighting and doing all that. Let's put it at the point of you're bored and you want something else to do other than getting in your ship and repeatedly firing away. And you're just like, oh, I spent too many hours doing this. Let's just get this over with. Instead, you can actually jump into your organization, get on one of their fleeted up ships, and basically do a job on the ship and not have to worry about fighting or firing or anything like that. Just be like a navigator or be the pilot, listen to the captain of the ship, being an engineer on that ship, or loading and unloading cargo. It's just small things, like the things that would make it to where you always have something to do. You won't get bored with the game, which is the key point and seller of it. Like, they want to make it to where it's exactly how you want. You want something that's always something enjoyable to go do without being like, okay, I'm bored with this. Do this one. Okay, now I'm bored with this. I really don't want to do this. And you run out of options of stuff to do. Like in Elite Dangerous, I get bored with passenger missions. I get bored with hauling missions. I get bored with trying to bounty hunt sometimes. I mean, I really do get to the point where it's like I'm just out there doing things to just do things, and I'm really just bored. I'll mess with around other players and basically harass players who are mining or just stupid little things like that, or I'll jump into my fighter and destroy my own ship and claim it back just because I want to. When it comes to exploration in that game, it's somewhat enjoyable, but then at the same time it's more like I'm getting bored. I jump into my SUV trying to look for things, I get bored. I run out of things to do in that game. So I see the key points of what the developers are trying to do with this one, trying to keep it to where it's less boring, doesn't get to the point where you feel like it's too repetitive on certain things, and you just lose interest in them. And it's a good thing that they're doing that. It shows their willingness to be able to make sure that the game, when it comes out, especially when the persistent part of the game comes out, that it's going to have tons of people on it. People are not going to get bored with the game. They're going to constantly want to come back and do something on the game. And make it to where you, the players, have the decision to be able to help do things, be able to help get this game to the place where they envisioned it, right alongside where you envisioned the game to go. Now, I'm probably going to get a lot of people from Star Citizen that's going to probably tell me, oh, hey, this motherfucker doesn't tell what he's talking about, blah, blah, blah. I don't listen to people. I go with my point of view, my opinions, what I have seen for testing of the game, what I'm going through while testing of this game. They're solely my opinions, my facts, what I think should be going on. It may not, or it may come along the same lines as your point of view or your opinions in some sorts, in some manners. But I'm not saying things that it's meant for you to bash me on. Not at all. Because I'm not sitting there saying anything bad about the game. I'm just pointing out the clear factors of what is currently and what is that I see that could be happening, and some of the things that are bad about the current state, and some of the things that I see that are good, and what would need to be fixed to make the game even more enjoyable. Now, with that being said, as you can see, I'm probably not going to waste any more of my time on this mission. Like, this is retarded. I can self-destruct right now, and I would not give two craps about using anything. Yeah, I don't think we're going to do that.
Self-destruct activated.
Yeah, blow up. Blow up. Holy shit. Well, that's it for today. As you can see, this has just been a obvious talking, and later more of the Let's Play we will do more and more on key focusing of what to actually do. I really don't like using the Aurora for any kind of combat situations because it absolutely sucks. It's not an enjoyable experience. And please, for the love of God, people, why? I mean, yes, characters, they're going to be women characters, but why? You know how many perverted people are out here that play these games, and what kind of sick, twisted minds that they have. So why would you put a this capability of having a bathroom where people are going to just do stupid shit and peek and do things that just trolls. And to be freaking creepy as hell. As it stands, if it comes to my opinion, cargo running, it can be very profitable right now. But, like I said, the catch-22 with claiming, like, if you bug out, then somehow you get kicked out of the server because connection issues or something like that, then you have to claim that ship. Being able to make it to where I can go back to my ship, if that does happen, instead of coming back to a port and have to claim and then lose all that cargo and all that in-game currency that I just spent, get that ship back. Yeah, no, it's not what I'm going to want. It's, as it stands right now, that's the most frustrating part of this game. And it's the least enjoyable thing I want to do. I really don't want to run any type of cargo. I have lost maybe over 240,000 due to that. So it's not an enjoyable part. God, I love protection. But anyways, I will see you, ladies and gentlemen, on the next Let's Play Star Citizen. And hopefully I have enough time that I can show you a completed mission with a good ship, not this sucky. Thank you everybody for watching, and if you like, please subscribe to my channel. And if there's anything you want to talk about that's game-wise for Star Citizen, or do you have your own comments and point of views that you want to address yourself as a Star Citizen player, go ahead. Feel free to like and subscribe, and put your comments down in the comment section. I will read them, and I will answer you guys when I am able to. Thank you, and I'll see you guys later.